Hi there, this is a video response to your video, a response to burning the burqa challenge idea. First of all, I have to say that I don't necessarily 100% agree with the National Response Squad idea to burn the burqa. I have my own arguments for that, but that is for another video. What I'm going to concentrate on this video is just the points that you brought up. The points about rationality, atheism and morality. Okay, let us begin. You start your video by saying that both the atheistic and theistic point of view are equally irrational. The reason for that is because you cannot prove with 100% certainty that something does not exist. Therefore, why would you believe that something does not exist? First, I have to say that you're right. You're absolutely right that we cannot prove with 100% certainty that something does not exist. But just because of that, why should we give that thing a 50% chance of existence? Because if we have to do that, then we also have to give a 50% chance of existence for things like the flying spaghetti monster, or the pink unicorn, or the celestial teapot. So why is it irrational? Why is it irrational concerning these events which have such a small chance of happening? Why is it irrational that we live our lives as if there's a 0% chance of this thing happening? To steal an example from Two Leg Humanist, if I go and start my car right now, there's a huge possibility that it will start, but there's also a small chance that it will not start. But why should I live my life with as if there's a 50% chance of it not starting? Isn't it more rational, like most people do, to just live your life as if there's a 100% chance of those things not happening? So to summarize, just because we cannot prove with 100% certainty that something does not exist doesn't mean that we are forced to take on the agnostic point of view. In fact, it would truly be irrational to give a 50% chance of existence for every single thing that the human imagination can think up of. Next, you mentioned rationality, that it should not be the highest value, but instead things like truth, love, justice and freedom should be higher value than rationality. But I have to say that this concept that you mentioned are quite subjective. I mean, what is love? What is truth? What is justice? What is freedom? Take for example justice. What is justice? Say that you've stolen $10 from me. Is justice for me to steal $10 back? Or something more extreme. Let's say that that you killed my daughter. Is it justice for me to kill your daughter back? Or even the topic that we're talking about right now, the burqa. Let's say that the woman really decides to take off her burqa and burn it. Is it justice for us to punish her? Is it justice for us to kill her too? To even kill her? Some people say yes, that is justice, but some people say no, that's not justice. What I'm trying to say is that so many people have so many different ideas of what justice is, that the only way for us to objectively define justice, define love, define truth is through rationality, is through logic. Otherwise, all these people have their own ideas of what justice is. Because otherwise, let's say you kill my daughter, I say justice is that I kill your entire family in return because of the psychological trauma that you've probably through. Next, you said that something that is irrational is not necessarily wrong. Take for example a mother jumping in front of a child to stop a bullet is irrational, but not necessarily wrong. But I have to say that it's only irrational when you look at it from a selfish point of view. Because if the mother really loves her child, then it will even be more irrational to just sit there and watch her die, and then suffer the pain, the nightmare, and the agonies from it afterwards. So the question is altruism really irrational? I would say it's not. Ultimately, it's not irrational. I think it's way more irrational to just blindly follow a God which you know for certain there's no evidence for it whatsoever. Next, you sort of compare the concept of love to the concept of God, in the sense that it is impossible to describe or prove any one of them. But I would say that there's a huge difference between love and God. in the sense that love is falsifiable. I mean, it's much easier to say that to claim that you don't love somebody, to claim that he doesn't love she or she doesn't love him. I mean, but in case of God, no matter how many evidence we gather, no matter how much we know of the universe, we cannot 100% say that God does not exist. But in case of love, we can quite easily say yes, she doesn't love him or he doesn't love her. So the comparison between love and God is, I don't think it's a good one. And now I want to talk a little bit about the reasons for having to wear a burqa. I mean, what kind of reasons do you have for advocating women to have to wear a burqa? The only real practical reason that I heard that makes sense at all, the only real non-religious reason, other than like it pleases God, the only real non-religious reason why women have to wear burqa is basically, if I have to paraphrase, is basically for the defense of women. Because a woman that wears revealing clothing is less prone to get raped, is less prone to get harassed by men when they do wear like the clothing that shows off. So basically it's to defend women, is to make sure that they do not get harassed, to make sure that they do not get raped. So let's think about it for a second. I mean, that's really the only reason I've heard so far that makes sense. Maybe there are other reasons that I'm not aware of, but that's the only reason I've heard so far. So let's explore that. Let's think about it for a second, okay? Let's think about the reason for a second. I remember that that in your video you talk about going to the real source of the problem instead of sticking to the surface. Going to the real source of the problem and not look at superficial things. In this case of wearing the burqa, isn't the real problem men? Isn't men the real problem? Isn't the real problem that men cannot exercise self-restraint than that women's faces are too beautiful? I mean, if man is able to have enough discipline and is able to exercise self-restraint all the time, then women does not have to wear protective clothing. Women can wear whatever they want. They will not get harassed if men have enough self-restraint. If men, you know, are not filthy pigs, are not the pigs like we are. So if you really want to go to the source of the problem, take it out of men. Why should women be paying for the fault of men? Am I right? But of course, that's assuming that that's the only practical reason for wearing burqa. If there are other reasons, and then I would like to hear about it. And then finally, you talked about building bridges. That is way better to build bridges than to burn them. That it's way better to look at our similarities than our differences. And our similarities is that we are one human race, all alone on this planet. So it's way better to start working together for a better future than to fight each other. So I absolutely agree on that. Absolutely agree on that. But in my opinion, but that's only my opinion, so please don't get offended. But it's my opinion that we can never start to build bridges as long as there are people out there that obey scriptures that quite explicitly tells you what you should do to people who does not share your belief. Because isn't the Quran quite graphic about what you should do to non-believers? So how can we start to build bridges when there, when there are scriptures out there that tells you what to do with people like me, just because I don't share your belief? But I have to say that I am quite ignorant about the Quran. I only read like bits and pieces of it, so in case I'm wrong, please correct me. Anyways, that's my video. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.